I've always believed that high school is a place where teenagers face their greatest fears: exams, social cliques, and the looming uncertainty of the future. But my experience at Hollowbrook High School went far beyond the typical teenage anxieties. It was a place where the supernatural and the unsettling intertwined, and it would forever haunt my memories. My name is Sarah, and this is the story of the most disturbing chapter of my life. It all began in my sophomore year at Hollowbrook High. I was an ordinary student, trying to navigate the treacherous waters of adolescence. My friends and I often laughed about the urban legends surrounding our school, stories of ghostly apparitions and unexplained phenomena. We dismissed them as mere tales told to scare underclassmen, but little did we know that we were about to become part of a legend ourselves. It was a crisp autumn day when my friends, Emily, Mark, and I decided to explore the school's abandoned basement. The basement had been off-limits for as long as anyone could remember, and the entrance had been sealed with a heavy metal door. But rumors persisted that there was a hidden passage, and curiosity got the better of us. Armed with flashlights and a sense of adventure, we set out to find the fabled entrance. After hours of searching, we stumbled upon a loose floor tile in an old janitor's closet. It revealed a narrow staircase leading down into darkness. We descended the staircase, the air growing colder with each step. Our flashlights flickered ominously, casting eerie shadows on the damp, moss-covered walls. The silence was deafening, broken only by the sound of our footsteps echoing in the narrow corridor. As we explored deeper into the basement, we discovered an ancient wooden door with a rusted handle. It was slightly ajar, as if inviting us to enter. Our hearts raced as we pushed it open, revealing a chamber that defied explanation. The room was unlike anything we had ever seen. Strange symbols adorned the walls, and a circle of candles burned in the center, their flickering flames casting dancing shadows. In the center of the circle lay an old, weathered book, its pages filled with cryptic writings. Emily, always the adventurous one, approached the book and began to leaf through its pages. As she did, a gust of wind rushed through the room, extinguishing the candles and plunging us into darkness. Panic set in as we fumbled for our flashlights, but before we could react, a voice echoed through the chamber, a voice that seemed to emanate from the very walls themselves. "Who dares to disturb this sacred place?" it whispered. We shone our flashlights in the direction of the voice, but there was no one there. The room was empty, save for the four of us and the ancient book. Mark, his voice trembling, stammered, "We didn't mean any harm. We were just curious." The disembodied voice seemed to grow angrier. "Curiosity can be a dangerous thing. You have trespassed into a realm beyond your understanding, and now you must face the consequences." With those words, the room shook violently, and the very walls seemed to close in around us. We screamed in terror as the symbols on the walls glowed with an unholy light, and the temperature dropped to a bone-chilling degree. Suddenly, Emily was lifted off her feet and thrown against the wall with a force that should have been impossible. We rushed to her side, but she was unconscious, blood trickling from a gash on her forehead. We were trapped, the room seemingly impervious to our pleas and attempts to escape. The disembodied voice continued to taunt us, its words echoing with a sinister malevolence. "You have awakened forces beyond your control," it hissed. "You shall remain here, trapped for all eternity, unless you can solve the riddle of the book." I grabbed the ancient tome and frantically began to read its pages. The writings were in a language I couldn't understand, but as I read, the words seemed to shift and change, as though they were alive. It was as if the book itself was communicating with me, revealing its secrets one cryptic message at a time. The riddle was complex, a series of clues and puzzles that led us on a journey through the history of Hollowbrook High School. We learned of a tragic incident that had occurred decades ago, a fire that had claimed the lives of several students and left the school's basement forever cursed. As we pieced together the riddle, the room seemed to respond, its malevolent energy gradually subsiding. The symbols on the walls faded, and the temperature returned to normal. Emily stirred, groaning as she regained consciousness. With a final, triumphant revelation, I solved the last puzzle of the riddle, and the room began to shake once more. But this time it was different. It was as though the very fabric of reality was shifting around us. Suddenly, we were no longer in the basement of Hollowbrook High. Instead, we found ourselves standing in the charred remains of the school as it had been decades ago, the fire raging all around us. We watched in horror as the ghosts of the past materialized before our eyes, the students who had perished in the fire. Their faces were twisted in agony, their eyes filled with accusation. "You released us from our torment," one of them said, their voice filled with sorrow. "But you must never forget the price of your curiosity." And with that, they vanished, leaving us alone in the burning school. The next thing we knew, we were back in the basement. The room returned to its normal state. The book lay closed on the ground, its pages empty once more. We stumbled out of the basement, shaken and terrified, vowing never to speak of our ordeal to anyone. We knew that what we had experienced was beyond explanation, beyond reason. It was a haunting that defied the laws of the natural world, a malevolent force that had been unleashed by our curiosity. Years have passed since that fateful day, but the memories still haunt me. I left Hollowbrook High, determined to leave the past behind. But I can never escape the knowledge that there are forces in this world that defy explanation, that lurk in the shadows, waiting to strike when we least expect it. And so, I share this story as a warning to all who dare to delve into the unknown, to those who are tempted by curiosity. Be careful what you seek, for you may find yourself facing a darkness that is beyond your wildest nightmares. A darkness that can only be found in the most unexpected of places, even within the hallowed halls of a high school.